What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com. And in the last Dynasty video, we went through our off-season with Season 3. We've done all of our recruiting, done a little position changes, got the roster set up, and now we're ready to head into our fourth season with Iowa State. I'm here to tell you the time flies when you're having fun with some of these series. So this is the preseason, which means we're going to do some more recruiting. We're going to do some depth chart looks. We're going to look at some red shirting, all that fun stuff. The first thing I actually want to look at is schedule. Let's go up to preseason options, and I have already set this up. We got an 8+ strength of schedule. Starting off, we got an open date week 1. That's always a preference. And then we got Vanderbilt. We're going to have a home game with them. Normally what I try to do is play only Power 5 schools in my non-conference especially. So we're going to have Vanderbilt. Then we got another open date. Then we got to head to number 12 Iowa. We always got to keep them on the schedule. I typically have another game right here. I always like to schedule 11 games. Unfortunately, the game forced me to put a game at the end of the schedule, which we'll look at here in a minute. So we got to go to Iowa. Then we got another open date, and then we finally get to head into our conference schedule. And look at this murderer's row here. At Texas, I don't care if they're not ranked. They just had the number 1 recruiting class, and they're Texas. They're going to have some talent. Then we got at Nebraska, at Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and then we got a bit of a breather, at least I hope so, with at Kansas State, Kansas at home, at Colorado, and Missouri. So those last 4 games have usually been pretty consistent in terms of their division games. Those are usually the last 4 on the schedule. And then we're going to play UCLA at the end. I wanted to pick just another team I haven't played in a while, a Pac-10 team. So when it comes to our non-conference, we got a Pac-10, we got the Big Ten game, of course, with Iowa, and I wanted to play an SEC school. So A+ schedule, we got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 ranked games, which is more than enough. Hopefully we can navigate through all that, especially this murderer's row right here. Let me look at that. That is just an insane. I wish it was more spread out, but it's not, but that's okay. All right, so that is it for the schedule. Let's talk about red shirting. Thankfully, we have got to the point to where we don't need a lot of players, especially freshmen, play for us this year. So when you go to quarterback, we don't have anybody to redshirt. Halfback, these are the 3 new halfbacks we picked up. I had to pick one to play because I like to keep 3 at all times. So, of course, Crawford and Doty are going to be playing. I'm going to just have McPherson be our number 3 guy, and we're going to redshirt Shaq and Russell. Fullback, this is the walk-on who he'll never see the field, but we can't redshirt him anyways. Wide receiver, we got enough depth here. Our top 5 guys have all come back, and these 2 freshmen we picked up, we're going to redshirt them. It's obvious we're not going to need them. Tight end, the only option we have to redshirt is Neal, and it is obvious we're not going to. He's our best tight end. Tackle, another good situation. This is the JUCO kid that we picked up, the big 5-star player. We won't need him this year because we got 2 starters ahead of him. Good situation. That way we'll have him for 2 seasons to play with. And then I also redshirted a sophomore, CJ Brand. It's obvious he's just not going to play any, and he was eligible to redshirt, so I went ahead and done so. Guard, I did have an option to redshirt one guy, Justin Parks. However, he is my second best guard, and there's just no point in me redshirting him. He would get in the muddle and in the mix with those freshmen, and I want to make sure I spread this out a little bit better. Last year, if you remember, it was 5 freshmen. Now we got 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen. Center, we got 1 newcomer, Matt Long, the freshman. We're going to redshirt him. Pretty obvious why we're doing that. Defensive end, I always just need about 4 active at all times, and obviously, the worst one of the bunch here is this Wallace kid, the freshman. We're going to redshirt him, obviously. Defensive tackle, I'm going to take a chance here. So we run 5-2 whenever we go up against bigger formations, but I want to just try to have 4 active and see how well that goes. We got these 3 freshmen down here. We're going to redshirt them all. If for whatever reason I see at one point, like in my first string, where these 3 guys just get out of breath or whatever, they just got to rest, and it puts somebody worse in, then I may take a red shirt off somebody. Otherwise, I think we're going to be okay by just having 4 active. We'll see. Outside linebacker, a true freshman, Alan Patterson, we're going to redshirt him. Middle linebacker, Clint Fritz, we're going to redshirt him. We only have 1 middle linebacker play at all times, so I think we're going to be okay with these 2 guys, and you're going to see why even more here in a little bit at the depth chart. Cornerback, I'm not going to redshirt any of them. I need to have at least 5 active at all times, but I'm obviously not going to redshirt Bridges or Cox. These 2 guys have been starting for me for the last couple of seasons at least. There's just no point in doing so. Plus, again, we run a lot of dimes, so these 4 guys right here are going to be seeing the field quite a bit. Free safety, I'm not going to redshirt this senior. If you remember, our starter last year was Dodd. He's a second-team all-conference player this year. He played really well. I thought, of course, I controlled him most of the time, but he's still going to be our starter this year, and I just don't want to redshirt a senior. There's just no point in it. So we're going to have this guy leave. I wish he was our starter, but he's just too slow for that position. Speaking of strong safety, I am going to redshirt TJ Wheeler. He's a sophomore, but our starter last year was Kyle Little. Because of his speed, and I thought he played just fine. You can see here he's a preseason first-team all-conference player. So we're going to redshirt Wheeler. That way we'll have him for at least 3 more years. Kicker, we don't have to redshirt anybody there. And punter, we got a good pickup here with D. Smith, the freshman. We don't have to play him because we have a senior. So this is the ideal scenario right here. Have a freshman redshirting, and then you have that senior there. He'll leave next year. So that is it for redshirting. Let's go over to the roster. And let's look at the depth chart. Not going to be anything too outlandish, but I still want to walk you through it. So as of now, we are going to have Mark Dean be our starter. We're going to let him try it out. If he plays well, he'll just be our starter. Peoples is right behind him. These two guys are pocket passers, as you could tell by their arms. Technically, Peoples has a better arm if you want to go by, if you just want to add up these two. It adds up to be more than what these two are. But I'm going to give Dean the chance for now. If it doesn't work out, we'll throw in Peoples. However, if both of these guys struggle for whatever reason, I am more than willing to completely invest time and patience into this kid right here. Pete Caesar, if you remember him from last year, this was an athlete, 85 speed. I will gladly introduce some of that into the offense, but you look at his arm, it's not bad. 84 on the passing, on the power, which is not as good as these two, but it's not terrible. Accuracy is what matters to me more. 86 is more than good enough. So we'll just see what happens, but I have moved him up to the 3 spot. Halfback, what I'm going to do here is I technically want Doty to be my starter. I want him to be on the field more often than not, just because of his speed. It's worth it. And you can see here, he looks like he's a first team preseason All-American. Crawford is the number 2, and if you remember, we run a lot of 2-back looks, so he's going to be on the field quite a bit. And there is McPherson at number 3. Fullback, we don't have to worry about it. Wide receiver, here's what we're going to do. So Miller is still going to be our number 1 guy. He's on the left side, the X. Our Z receiver is going to be Charles Williams. This is pretty much a newcomer. I think he caught a couple passes last year. He was a punt return guy for us last season, if I'm not mistaken. He done okay. But he's our new Z receiver. I'm going to keep Ford in the slot. You see these 3 to 4 receivers right here. They're all kind of the same. They all about got the same speed, more or less, or whatnot. I thought Ford done fine at slot, but for whatever reason, if he struggles, I don't mind switching these two because these two guys are pretty much identical. One's a little faster than the other. One can catch a little bit better than the other. It's just neither here nor there. Either way, we got good bodies here, but that is the main 3 because we don't even do any 4 wide stuff. Tight end, pretty simple. Nothing changed from last season. Neal's are number 1. I'm going to have Baker number 2. Just to get, I thought he done really well for us when a few times he was out there. And plus, since we added those 2 tight end looks, we need somebody who can block a little bit better on that left side, and Baker does a better job of that than any of these guys. But I do got this redshirt freshman, Nick Temple. He's the future star at tight end for us. He is the next Neal, hopefully. I don't know if he'll see the field much, but at least he's active now, and he can play now that he is redshirted. Offensive line's going to be really simple. It's just the top players for each one. As you can see here, for left tackle, Matt Hall. Then we got left guard, Pat Smith. Center, Tom Owens, arguably our best player. He's really jumped up big time. Training's really worked out for him. Right guard, same thing, Justin Parks. And then a right tackle is Chris Ford, just a junior, 93 overall. If he comes back next year, he could get close to a 99 overall, which would be pretty neat. When it comes to left end, we have a new starter. I'm going to have Morrow over Willis. Morrow and Willis look exactly alike. One's a little bit taller and skinnier. The other one's a little bit shorter and heavier, but they got the same speed, the same strength. You look at the tackle ratings, one's just a slightly better. So I don't worry too much about who the starter is because these guys tire very easily. So both of these guys are going to be playing quite a bit. Then you got right end. What you got here is Bradley over Davidson. So if you remember last season, Davidson was our starter, but Bradley took a real good jump in training, and I'm going to have him start for now. He's a little bit faster. He's not as strong, but he's got better tackle ratings, as you see right there. So, again, it's the same position, no different than left end. Both of these guys are going to be sitting in the field quite a bit. One thing I could possibly do, like in my nickel package, I may have nickel defensive ends in the formation subs. We'll see. I've never really had to do that before, but I got depth here, so it's a nice problem to have. Defensive tackle, pretty simple. All three of these guys right here are going to play at some point or another, especially in the 5-2. But I got Curtis, Owens, and Powell in that order right there. I needed more size than anything. That's why I put these two above Powell. Powell's a little smaller, and he's a senior. But as you can see there, I think we're going to be fine with that lineup. Outside linebacker, you got to remember we are a 5-2 team / nickel, so we only have one outside linebacker out there. Of course, Alford is going to be our starter. We got Burton behind him and then Ramsey behind him. I mean, we got a wealthy, good package of linebackers, to say the least. But what I'm going to do at middle linebacker, I'm going to have Burton be our starting middle linebacker. We pretty much done that towards the end of last season. Yes, we got Higgins. He's a true middle linebacker. He's actually a little bit better on the overall. However, Burton's got better speed and awareness. That matters to me more. So I'm going to have Burton be one of my starting linebackers. Besides, my two best linebackers are these two guys right here. I want them on the field at all times. All right, so right outside linebacker, we don't have to worry about it, not in our defense. Cornerback, Smith is still going to be our starter on one side. Cox is going to be our new outside cornerback on the other side. And I'm going to keep Bridges in the nickel for now. I prefer to have my smartest cornerbacks at 1 and 2 because these guys are on the field at all times. Plus, I like having a little extra speed at nickel. So that worked out pretty well right there. And I got Kelly. He'll be our dime corner. And then we got Tatum right there. They all just, again, kind of look the same. We've been building up pretty well there at that position. Free safety, Dodd is going to be our starter. Yes, it makes no sense to have Dodd over Carter if you just look at overall, but there's a lot more to ratings than just the overall. Again, Dodd's got the speed. We run a ton of man defense, and I need these guys flying around all over the place, and 78 speed is not going to cut it. Same with strong safety. Little's going to start over the Sims because of that speed, 95 speed. Then we got the kicker, pretty self-explanatory. Washington's been our starter there for a couple of years. And our punter, Jamal Hughes, this is his last year. I think this is his first year actually playing because I think we had one guy leave last year. Either way, he should do fine at punter. And kick return and punt return, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have Kyle Ford, our slot receiver, be our top guy, and then Williams behind him. I am taking Doty out of the punt returns only because he's going to be doing a whole lot when we actually are on offense. I don't want him to get hurt on a special teams play. We got a ton of depth at wide receiver. I think it's worth more doing it that way. So we're going to have Ford, Williams, and Doty, and then the same for the punt return. All right, let's look at our roster. I just want to show you who our captains are for this year. The way it works, you go to awareness, you sort all of that, and it's your top seniors or redshirt juniors with the highest awareness. As you see right here, Chris Ford, redshirt junior. He is our offensive captain. Next up, it's your defense. Same thing. It's going to be Chad Smith. I did not pick these. I could pick somebody else if I wanted to, but for now, we're going to have Ford and Smith as our two captains. Let's go to program standards. So we're finally in good shape here. It was a couple of seasons ago, it got kind of iffy. We had a bunch of dudes just kind of getting in trouble and we couldn't really catch up. But now we've over-disciplined. We didn't have too many get in trouble last year. Now we got that bar down to absolutely nothing with 56 points to play. It's a perfect position to be in. All right, what is next? Playbook-wise, nothing's going to change. I like what we was doing last year. This is the system. This is kind of what we do here at Iowa State. We are a Midwest Coast offense, and we're flying high. We've produced 2 Heisman winners. Might as well keep it the same. All right, so we've done that. The next thing we need to look at is the magazine, Athlon Sports. Let's look at the preseason polls. Virginia Tech, they were your national champion from last year. Texas A&M, Ohio State, LSU, Oklahoma, Florida State, Purdue, Penn State, Cal, so on and so forth. There's Nebraska. It's going to give us fits. We got to take on these two guys right here. Texas Tech, I think, was on the schedule as well. But here we are. We are 15th in the country. Not bad for us just kind of hanging in there for these last few years. Let's go to Heisman Watch. Quarterback for Hawaii is up. I think this was the kid. He came back last year. I think it's the same guy. Oklahoma halfback. We got to take him on later in the year. South Carolina quarterback. There's that Syracuse quarterback again, and a UTEP quarterback is on the Pat St. Louis. That's what I would call him. That's a great name. Good for him. Either way, a bunch of quarterbacks on there. Hopefully we'll get to see one of our quarterbacks on here, or maybe Doty if we run the ball enough and just give him enough touches. That'd be pretty cool. Preseason All-Americans. Let's look at that. Doty is a first-team preseason All-American, as he should be, just because he done so much on special teams. And towards the end of the season, he really got some extra touches, and it worked out for us. Keep on going. I don't think we got anybody else. I'm just kind of quickly going through here. I just care more about us than anything else. What about second-team All-Americans? We have Chad Smith, second-team All-American. That was a great pickup for us. He was a transfer a couple of years back. We was able to, of course, he sat out a year. We redshirted him as well. Now he's just a redshirt junior. We still got 2 more years out of this kid. Hopefully he'll want to stay after this year. That'd be nice. Let's go to the Big 12 Conference, and we got Doty. We got Miller. Anybody else? I assume Smith will be on there. There's Smith, and there is Kyle Little. So we got a handful of guys on the first team. What about second team? Ford, Williams, Neal. Anybody else? What about anybody else on defense? Yes, Bridges and Dodd. So this is what happens when you win a bunch of games in the conference last several years. You're going to get some first-teamers on there. This is a good chunk for both sides of the ball and both on first and second team. Let's look at conference outlook. So they have us, let's look at the division. They have Nebraska ahead of us. That makes sense. They beat us last year. They won the conference, but we're right there and nipping at their heels. They got us second, then Colorado, Missouri, Kansas, and Kansas State. You look at the South, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Texas, Oklahoma State, and Baylor. So you go to the overall. They got us the 5th best team in the conference, and we're 15th in the country. That's just how loaded this conference has been. So what, 5? There are 5 total ranked teams in our conference. Pretty nice. Let's go to toughest places to play. I'm pretty sure we won't be on here, but you look, Oklahoma's at the top. I think we go to Oklahoma this year, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we can check that schedule later. UCLA, we got them coming here, though. But we're not on this list at all. I don't know if we'll ever be on there. It would just take us forever to get there, but you never know. All right, I think we're ready to recruit. So I've done a little of note-taking. If you look here, we got 13 spots to fill. You look at the very bottom, it says 57. If nobody transfers out, leaves early, we got 13 spots to fill. But if you notice, we only got one glaring weakness, and that's outside linebacker. So I think we're in great shape. But I'm still going to go after a handful of dudes, and we'll see which ones we can get. I do know when it comes to here, I'll just go ahead and tell you now, it may be time to go find maybe one more quarterback. I probably will do that in the offseason, though. We're good at halfback, a bunch of freshmen. Wide receiver, we got 6 guys coming back. I think we're going to be okay. Tight end, I think we're good. We moved that one guy, Kirk, over the tight end, so 3 coming back there. You got 5. I always like to have a minimum of 5 at tackle and guard. Center, always a minimum of 3. 5 at defensive end, defensive tackle. Middle linebacker, 3 is good. Corner, you notice at corner, we got some more upperclassmen than usual, so corner may be of interest for us. And then free safety is going to be a big need. So free safety, outside linebacker, and I don't know, maybe another defensive end, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, it's a good problem to have. We just don't have a whole lot of spots to fill. So if you remember in the previous video, I talked about my second rule, which now has become one big rule where I can recruit any in-state player or JUCO in the country. Everybody else is 3-star and below. Well, there are no JUCO players in the regular season when you recruit them. So we're going to keep this pretty simple. We're going to look at my state, Iowa. I'm going to go over to it. There's Iowa. We got 4 guys to look at, not a whole lot there, and then we're going to look at our other pipelines. So I'm actually going to go back. Let's just make sure where our pipelines are. Let's go through these pretty quickly. It should be Florida. There you go. Florida's still a pipeline. Texas should still be a pipeline, and then Illinois. Illinois is a good pipeline because it's really close, and they produce a lot of talent. So let's go check. Of course, there's Iowa, and let's just make sure Texas is the other one. I'm pretty sure we haven't sneaked in anywhere else as a pipeline. And there is Texas. All right, that should be it. Just want to make sure. Yes, we're good. All right, so let's go to Iowa. There's only 4 guys to look at here. And as I mentioned earlier, free safety is kind of important. Here's a 4-star kid. Let's just go ahead and put a scholarship on him. We're kind of good at wide receiver. It's just not that big of a need, a 3-star. But here's another free safety I'm willing to go after because of one thing. speed. Again, I played a ton of man defense. I need guys flying around all over the place. A lot of our times our free safeties are the one high safety. They got to run around all over the place as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just put one on him. You just never know. Corner, I need to start thinking about this a little bit. I'm actually going to go ahead and put a scholarship on this kid. I wish he was a little faster. 4.43 is kind of slow, but for now, let's go ahead and do that. I love his height. That's going to be very helpful. So those are the three we're going to go after here. The next one I think we need to go to is Illinois. Let's go through here. So quarterback, again, I'm going to wait to the offseason for these. I have no idea if this guy's got an arm or not, a good enough arm. You just never know. We're good at halfback. Wide receiver, again, we're fine. Tight end, I think we're going to be fine unless I can find somebody who's like super fast that can really catch. 4.69 is not bad, but it's just not a big need for us. Offensive line, you can never have too many, but you look at our seniors, our upperclassmen kind of guys. Notice at tackle, we got a couple of sophomores and a couple of juniors. I may need to start thinking about getting somebody around here. Now, this guy's got awareness. Normally, for my offense, I need somebody who's really smart, good pass blocking. I may take a chance on this kid. I wish he was a little bit heavier. Weight does actually matter, and his squat isn't all that great, believe it or not. I think I'm going to pass on him. Let's keep going. Let me go and stick with Illinois. How about that? Guard, we got a ton of nothing but freshmen and sophomore. I'm just not going to go after them. Center, I probably need to think because the freshman we picked up isn't the greatest in the world. If I can find one that's better, that'd be great. Now, this kid's a 4-star freshman, so I'm not going to go after this guy. You keep on going. Defensive end, but can't do that. They're 4-star kids. Outside linebacker, just look here real quick. We do need some help here, but we need speed. The only 3-star we can look at is 4.65. That's too slow. No offense to him. Middle linebacker, we're kind of okay here. We already got 3 guys, and the freshman we picked up in Fritz is excellent. So I don't think we're going to need any help here. Cornerback, no. Free safety, strong safety, no. All right, so the next one is Texas or Florida. Which one's more important? How about we go to Texas? Let's go to Texas. Quarterback, 3-star. Again, I just don't think we need to look at this right now. Same with halfback. We're loaded there. We got the bodies. Wide receiver, let's see, tight end, tackle. Here's a 3-star, 6'6", 300 pounds, awareness. That's more like it for me. His squat is actually a little bit less than that other guy we looked at, though. But I'm going to go ahead and put a scholarship on him. Guard, we're good. Center, it's a 4-star. Can't do it. Defensive tackle, I always like to have plenty, but we got 5 there, so we're fine. Outside linebacker, here's a 3-star, but he's a 4.69. That's just too slow for me. I'm sorry. Middle linebacker, we're good. Corner, I wouldn't mind finding an extra body, but there's not enough here. Free safety, 4.6, too slow. I'm sorry. I wish you could translate to like linebacker. That would be really cool, but they just can't. They don't do that well in this game. Strong safety, let me just look here. 1 apiece, so we're in good spots here. I like to have that variety there, 1 of each at each class. 4.48, though, that's not very fast for what I need, so I'm going to keep on going. That's it there. What about Florida's all that's next? Otherwise, I may just have to go to some other states and find somebody to fill up the rest of these spots. Quarterback, again, I just don't really need to take a look at him. Same with halfback. Receiver, 4-star, tight end 4, tackle. Here's a 3-star kid. A little small for me. 6.05 squat. That is weak. No offense to the kid. Guard, no. Center, 4-star. Defensive end, 4. Defensive tackle. Can't do this kid. He's way too small. I think we're kind of okay there. Outside linebacker, more 4-star. What do you do? Middle linebacker, we're fine. I could always move a middle linebacker to outside linebacker if needed. But corner, here's a couple 3-star kids. Here's a kid that's 4.35. That's not bad. I'll go ahead and put a scholarship on him. Free safety, no. Strong safety, 3-star, 4.56. You're too slow. I'm sorry. So we got 7 spots to fill. So what we need to do, since I'm out of pipeline states, what I can do is go over to all. And let's look at the positions of need I'm really been paying attention to. On offense, it has been, we've kind of looked at tackle a little bit. I can probably go find, I like that other tackle we've already, let me just go find another. The center's been more important. Let's go down here. So let's just go down to the 3-stars and maybe we can just find somebody that really fits what we're looking for. I don't really care where they're from either, but I need to find somebody who's super smart. All these guys, I got B-, A, C-, but here's a kid right here. A on the awareness. Awareness, I think, really impacts high snaps and whatnot. Kid out of Virginia. We may be able to build a little pipeline of Virginia when we got that JUCO tackle. I'm going to go ahead and put a scholarship on that kid. Okay. Next up, defensive end. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, we only got 5. Let's go. Unless I can find somebody that's super fast. Here's a lot of 4 stars. Let's see if we can find somebody really fast. Looks like the fastest we can see is 4.65. So I'm not too excited about going after any of these guys. If they were like in the 4.5s, that'd be great. We need some speedier left ends. And I'm not seeing it here. I may have to move a middle linebacker down there one day. We'll see. Defense tackle, we're kind of okay. Outside linebacker is a position of need. Let's go down here. Okay, now we're down to the 3 stars. I just need to find somebody super fast, like these 4.52 kids. Here's a kid out of Georgia, kid out of Ohio. They look about the same, almost. Grego, I'm going to put one on him. And here's a 4.52 kid out of Mississippi. I think we'll just do that one kid for now. That's fine. Middle linebacker, we're good. Corner, I wouldn't mind finding some speed and height. Let's go to the 3 stars. Get down here eventually. All right, let's go find anybody that's like super fast. There's a 4.33 out of Alabama at 5'11". Let's go keep going. Here's a 4.33 out of Colorado, 6'3". Yes, this is the kid I'm looking for. Tall, super fast. Awareness is B. That's fine. There's a 4.35, and there's another 4.33 out of North Carolina, 6 feet tall. I think that's good enough. Yeah, I think we're fine with there. Free safety, speed. Man, if I could find some speed here, that'd be great. So let's go see if we can find it. Here are the 3-star kids. 4.6. Here's a 4.52. 4.35 out of Louisiana. I'm going to go ahead and put a scholarship on him. There's another 4.35 we're already looking at. So that's it there. So we're down to 3 spots. Let me look at the strong safeties. Let's go. Oh, we're already down at the 3 stars, aren't we? Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. 4.52s. There's some 4.48s. Here's a 4.41 out of Ohio. Let's go ahead and put one on him. And that is it. So we got 2 spotlets, but if you remember, I'm only going to go after 3 or 4 kids, so I don't need to fill up all 12 scholarships, but I can if you need me to. So what I can do, because you just never know with some of these kids, let's go. What's an area of a position that's kind of worth chasing? Let's just, for those last 2 spots, how about we go to quarterback? And let's go back to all. And let's just take a chance on a couple kids. You just never know. These guys may have like amazing arms or whatever. I need pocket passers more than anything else. So you see all these pocket passers here. Did I have an in-state kid, by the way? Let me go back to the 3 stars. A lot more than I expected. Minnesota, 4.65. Again, you have no clue if these guys can throw the ball or not. I'm going to get somebody that's kind of smart, that's kind of close. Here's that kid out of Texas, Mark Schroeder. I'm going to go ahead and put one on him. And a kid out of Florida. Let's just go ahead and put one on him. Maybe one of these 2 guys may have a killer arm, and that's what we'll go after. All right, so we're down to 0 scholarships. So we're going to back off. We're going to go to play week. I'm going to sim the first week. And then what we're going to do is try to redistribute some of these points and see if we can find 2 or 3 guys that are worth going after. So let's back out. Let's go to recruiting. So here are the 12 we're looking at. I like to go find positive pitches. So let's go and just see here. Automatically put some points on them. There's one right here. Free safety, Eric Capps out of Iowa, 4.35. He fits what we're looking for. He's not very smart, but he's super fast, and I typically control the free safety more often than not. I like to think my awareness as a free safety, personally, is about a C-. I really whiff on some tackles at times. But we're going to go ahead and put like 20 on him for now. Actually, we'll probably do 25. Let's keep going. Got any more positive pitches? Nope. Here's another positive pitch. Another free safety. Okay, a Louisiana kid. So here's one thing. I don't know if I'm going to go after him. Normally, the game does a good job of ordering these by talent, and this guy apparently is the worst one of the bunch. The reason why I'm doing that is because our most talented player on this entire list is this kid right here, Mark Cronin, the 4-star free safety. He's a little slower, but he's much smarter. In-state kid. I want to put points on him as well. So we'll go after 2 free safeties. We need to shore up that position. Now, let's go look at some other dudes. So let's look at these 2 quarterbacks. So Mark Schroeder, C+ accuracy. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. What about this other quarterback? He's even a little worse, so I'm not going to go after either one, but it was worth a shot. What about these corners? We're going to go after at least one of them. So here's Charles Richards. 4.33, 6.3. I like that. Here's one that we're up on his list. I really don't worry too much about where we're at initially. We put enough points on a kid, and you're going to move up pretty quickly. There's a 4.43. We're looking at a couple other ones. This one is a 4.35 out of Florida. That was it. We'll probably just go with this kid right here out of Colorado, Charles Richards. I like that. I think he's got the best of everything that I'm looking for. So let's go put 25 on this guy. And how about we go after somebody that may not be a secondary player? What about one of these offensive or outside linebackers? So is that the only one we're looking at? It's just Greg Lokit? Is that it? I guess so. Let's go down. I may do 20 across the board. So we're at the bottom of his list, but again, I don't worry too much about that. But he's super fast. He's not very smart. He's probably going to start off like at a 68 or a 72, but he's fast. Again, that's just what I need there. So let's go ahead and put 25 on him. And just in case, let's go look at somebody else. Like, we've already looked at those corners. Let's look at these two linemen. We got a center, a 3-star kid out of Virginia, and here's a 3-star tackle. Should I take a chance on one of those kids? Like, look, this center is got a better squat than this tackle. Could he be a future starter for us? Is it worth going after him, or should I just wait? That's going to be the only bugaboo. Do I need to just stick with these 4 guys, the 2 free safeties, the corner, and the outside linebacker, or do I do 20% for all 5 of these guys? Add some points to one of these 2. If you go back, again, let's just go and make up our decision now. Let's go over to the roster. Let's go look at both positions. So when it comes to tight end, we got 6 bodies here. One of them is leaving, and that's a starter, Matt Hall. Cox will be our starter next year. He'll probably take that left spot next year. And then we got a sophomore, a freshman, and a sophomore that's redshirting. We're probably fine there. I think this is probably a more important position, but we got a redshirt freshman that's going to look the part. I think he's going to be fine. He'll be our starter here in a couple years. It'd be amazing if Owens wants to come back. I think we can find another dude at center, maybe in the offseason. I think we're okay here for the next 3 years or so. So having said that, along with tackle, I think we're okay. I think we're fine at just doing the 25 across the board for these 4. So these are the 4 guys we're going to go after. Free safety, in-state player Mark Cronin. I think he'll be a good pickup. Cornerback Charles Richards, I think will be a good one. He'll fit the need. Here's the other free safety. You can't have too many of these speedsters. This has been like our biggest problem on defense is finding speed at free safety. I think this guy can really help us out there. And then last but not least, we got another outside linebacker. He may be no different than that outside linebacker we picked up in the regular season last year, but at least he's fast, and that's just kind of what I need there. So we'll give that a shot. We'll go after those 4 players. All right, that is it for this video. Next up, we got Vanderbilt. Should be a fun one. Looks like we got a little bit more talent than they do. They run like a pro-style offense and a 4-3 defense. Let's see if we can kick off the season right. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.